Hey everyone, my name is Carlos Tello, and with me today is this guy, Pastor Craig Wendell. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, Carlos. It's going good, man. You were all serious. You're like, hey, I'm here.
Well, you got to put my radio voice on
Gotcha.
sometimes to get it going. Well, we are here today to hopefully answer, not we, as in you are here to hopefully answer some questions that we have during this pandemic time that we have that is continuing to evolve and change. And
like hourly. It seems like hourly.
Yeah, I mean, restaurants are finally opening up limited. Parks, gyms, things like that. Salons are back open.
Limited. Do you just add limited
after all of them? After all of them, we have to add limited. I don't have to get the wife to cut the hair, now. So, but she did a good job.
My wife is not touching
She's
my
not
hair.
touching your hair. But many people are getting back to work, which is a great thing. It's a huge blessing for many. And if I've already mentioned my wife, if you're like my wife, you probably already drowned yourself in white queso and chips at the Mexican restaurant, local places. But the place that everybody's talking about now is church. When are we going to get back together?
Yeah, everybody's talking about it except for the governor, because the governor is still not talking about
He's not
churches. So anyway, sorry, I threw the governor in there.
Well, before we get to that, there is a survey online on our Facebook page right now. So get on there, click that link, and take that survey because it's very important. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because the survey is there because we want to know what people are thinking, and we want to know what their level of comfort is, and where they all stand. Because we're trying with church, we're trying to offer a service to everyone,
That's right,
and not just a church service, right? But we want to serve the spiritual needs of the people. But we also don't want to mess up or put in danger anyone physically. And so there's that balance that we're trying to work through.
Yeah, and I know that people have concerns, and people have commented, and people are asking. And I did want to read a comment off of Facebook, and Terry Wheeler says, I like how you're changing up Sunday service, but don't feel like you have to kill yourself with a new backdrop every week. Back porch preaching is good, wink emoji face. And I love the book of James.
Yeah, so we're starting the whole James thing. Yeah.
So great job, band and Pastor Patty this past weekend. Y'all did a great job. And shout out to Rob Rock for the awesome videos work that they did. And I'm just going to transition that to this first question, this new normal and this new digital era that we've been talking about. It hasn't been very easy, right? I mean, you've had a lot of growing pains.
It's been a breeze, dude. I hardly noticed anything's changed.
No.
Insert sarcasm.
Right.
It's been actually really insert sarcasm.
There's the sarcasm right there for us.
It's been really tough, especially in the beginning of it. I think okay. I was going to say don't quote me on this, but that's actually what we're doing is quoting me.
Yeah.
I think we're 9 weeks in. Is that right? 9 weeks into this thing. Honestly, never dreamed it would have lasted this long. But I told the staff at the beginning. I quoted this thing from Stockholm, which was a high-ranking officer in World War II that was captured, and he was in the Nazi concentration camps. And he survived, and all the way through it, he was like one of the longest-held prisoners and all that stuff. And afterwards, they did an interview with him, and they asked him. They said, who didn't make it through the concentration camps? What's the mental outlook? And he answered very quickly. He said, it's the optimist. The optimists never made it through. They didn't survive. And he's talking mentally. Because they would always put out, we're going to be set free this Christmas. Or we're going to be set free this July. They always kept putting dates to when the crisis would end. And, of course, crises don't end to our optimistic views. And so it's a balance of being faithful without being optimistically putting out a date, right? And so we're still not putting out dates. However, we're going to talk about a date.
Right.
But even that date could very well change.
Right.
So we're kind of in one of those things where we want to be faithful and we want to talk and be strong and courageous leaders, which I feel like we're being and doing. But at the same time, we don't want to put all of our eggs in one basket, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. And, we've been waiting and waiting. Pastor Carson and I were joking about, the movie Groundhog's Day. It's like, it's quarantine day again. Here we are again. But, I mean, we do have to be patient because little by little things are, like we already said, opening it back up. And slowly we're able to do things that we used to be able to do, but just in a very limited capacity. And
Right.
times have changed for grocery stores, restaurants, things like that. So it's definitely different. And I just want to say thank you to the staff and all the hard work that everybody's been putting on for all this content that's been going on, everything on Facebook. Just shout out to everybody who's been involved with social media, staff. Good job, everybody.
Yeah. They've been doing a fabulous job. Let me give a shout out to everybody, all the South Pointers. I mean, I think it's amazing. You guys have watched. You've stayed. You've watched. You've stayed connected. You've engaged. And one thing that a lot of people ask, and I'll just say it, a lot of people are concerned about the financial giving.
Mm-hmm.
If it's your church, if this is your church, you're like, somebody told me this, we're still giving because we want there to be a church when this is all over.
Yes.
You want that.
Yeah, definitely.
And our giving has been fabulous. The South Pointers have just stepped up, and our giving has not dipped, and it's just stayed like we normally are, which is just fabulous. And
That's
it just shows
right there,
the
right?
faithfulness, the faithfulness.
So let's just talk about these doors opening up. I mean, when the people come back in, the congregation, the worshipers, who have you been talking to? Have you gotten advice from any local government, local pastors from the Church United, CDC guidelines?
The CDC. They're on speed dial. That's just kidding. I'm just kidding. But no, I've been talking with a lot of people. I've been on conference calls, Zoom. Everybody's on Zoom calls.
Do you have a cool background yet?
I tried it. Okay, you want to be real honest? I've tried the virtual background on Zoom, but it makes my hair look, it doesn't pick up all the curls and stuff, so it makes my hair look like a helmet.
That little
and I don't like helmet hair, so that's my pride coming out even in Zoom. Anyway, let's move on, Carlos. Let's just move on. Been on conference calls with several pastors from all over the nation, several different pockets of pastors, and getting advice and talking about what's going on in other states and other areas. And then also had a couple meetings with Mayor Musselwhite in South Haven. That's our mayor, if you're unaware of that. And talking with him about churches opening up and what that looks like and what we can expect and when we can expect. And just really, I think it's great, honestly, that the church leaders and even political leaders, at least in this area, I can't answer for the entire nation or even our governor, but the mayor and the aldermen of this area really have been leaning into church leadership, asking and having conversations, which I think is fabulous, and I love that we're all talking. We all want the best for the people. Mm-hmm. We all want everybody to be healthy, but we also understand that there is a necessity, there's an essentialness to churches meeting and being in our spiritual pocket, if you will.
Yeah, definitely. And to bring back one of your old messages, you talked about the church used to be the center of just everybody used to go to the church, and then as time has gone on, the church has kind of gotten out of that circle. But now in our community right now, the churches right now is in the center, and it's just how it should
Carlos,
be, right?
you remembering my messages just makes my heart swoon.
I pay attention.
Swoon. Yeah, Christianity right now, and I think it's just real for our nation, Christianity is definitely in the margins. Mm-hmm. It's no longer the center of any society right now. Should it be? Well, absolutely. Mm-hmm. However, I think the Bible teaches that that's not the norm. We all just came out of decades ago this thing called Christendom, where all of our society was based around church rules. That's where we got the blue laws from, and those things. And that's just we don't live there anymore. Mm-hmm. And we can cry about it and scream for our Christian liberties, which some people are doing now. But you never saw Jesus or the disciples ever scream for their Christian liberties, not once. The Apostle Paul never complained about his liberties being violated when they were stoning him.
They weren't infringing on their rights as Americans. They weren't even Americans back then.
We so confuse Christian rights with American rights and Christian freedom with American freedom. It's not apples to apples. It's just not the same thing. Am I thankful for my Christian liberties here in the United States? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But my faith is not based on that. My faith is based on the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. Anything other than that is just kind of like, this isn't my kingdom. I'm part of God's kingdom, and Anyway, you brought up an old message. I could preach for a long time on that, but it's kind of in my heart. I
have a little church in church, right?
Yeah, baby.
Well, since all businesses have this limited number of people allowed to enter, are we going to follow suit? What do you think might be the limits? What would it be like when the doors finally get to open? We get to walk in the doors.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about capacity for a second,
right?
And then we can talk about, if anybody wants to know, we can talk about the date of actually gathering back together.
Everybody's at home waiting, just like, oh my gosh, please just say the date so I can move on.
The capacity is one of those things that we are looking at, because we have to. We want to fall in line with the politicians, the politics. We want to fall in line with our government officials. We're not trying to be renegades. We're trying to be good citizens. 1 Peter chapter 5 tells us that we should be citizens, honorable citizens, and so we want to do that. Yeah. So it's going to be real soon. They're going to open churches with a 30% capacity.
Okay.
We probably will not open at that stage, simply because 30% for our building and our congregation, the size of it, it's probably not a really good feel for us, because things are going well online,
right?
And so we don't want to take a step back. We always want to keep taking steps forward.
Oh yeah.
So after the 30%, then what it would be 50% capacity. And I think we could do that very easily and very well. So that's kind of what we're banking on, is that there would be a 50% capacity. And then when people do come, we're asking that they still maintain social distancing.
Right.
We'll coin a little phrase here: no contact worship. How about that? No contact worship. Whatever that means. I don't even know.
So if you accidentally slap somebody in the face with the open palms,
we're going to throw flags and be like, no flags in church. We're not doing flags in church. You're out of here. 5 minutes. Yeah. Penalty box. Wow, we just mixed every sport, didn't we? Yeah. All of them right there.
I think we need sports back, people. Come on, we need our sports back.
But some of the things that people can expect when they return for these first little bit, not the whole time, obviously, but it's a gradual increase of coming back. We wouldn't do coffee right away, because that's just I know.
So bring your own coffee.
You can absolutely bring your own coffee. We're just not going to have coffee set up. And then another thing that we're going to do is we're not going to have paper note sheets that you can hand out, that we're going to hand out. But we'll put a link on the screen where you can download the notes to your smart device, your smartphone or whatever.
And you can go the old-fashioned way, bring a notepad.
You can bring a notepad.
Yeah.
The gospel can still be preached without note sheets.
Those of you note takers that really, they want to fill in the blanks. I mean, bring your own piece of paper.
Bruh, they could go old school and bring a paper Bible.
Oh, my goodness.
Do they still make those?
I think they do.
No, they don't. Pastor Carson behind the scenes is saying, no, they don't. No, they don't. So we're going to do 30, 50, 100%. That's kind of the rollout phase.
Okay.
And things will look a little different. Actually, one of the big things right now that we're talking about and that we're still conversating about is kids. Okay,
yeah.
So
yeah.
Do we bring kids in the auditorium? Do we not have Kids Point? And honestly, I'm not going to answer that question right now, because that is still an ongoing question. It might look like we have kids in the auditorium with us for a couple weeks.
Okay.
Or we might devise a plan to have the kids in an environment where they can be separated and taken care of in a safe way. That is still a conversation that is ongoing.
It's not easy, everybody. I mean,
the church staff, just so you know, the church staff is not sitting around twiddling our thumbs.
Right.
We are talking until I'm so tired of talking. In fact, I told them yesterday we had a meeting, and I had this look on my face, and I just said, some of them were on Zoom, some of them were in the conference room, and I said, just so you know, this look on my face of frustration is not frustrated at anybody in this room. It's just the situation we're in. So the kids is definitely an ongoing conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're having meetings to have the meetings, right? At this point, all these meetings.
Yes. And we just wanted to share, and that's why we're doing this, is because we just wanted to share with all of you, some of these things that we're talking about and the direction that we're going, and we want you to be in the loop and communicated with.
One of the questions that was asked by a few people on Facebook is PPE.
Which before this, did you even know what PPE
I did
meant?
because I work in I have to work in a sterile environment.
Yeah, you do.
I work
That's
at a
right.
medical facility, so we have to wear personal protection equipment. I guess that's how it
That is, yeah.
I have safety shoes, gloves, masks, things like that. I have safety glasses and all that. But will they have to wear masks and gloves coming in, or is that going to be a personal choice? Is this going to be a requirement?
Okay, so here's a big thing that we're hanging our hat on, okay? We are actually trusting people with common sense. I know. This flies in the face of everything,
Ooh.
right? We're actually trusting people to take care of themselves.
Right.
To be smart about
Right.
it. So, right off the bat, if you're 65 years or older, don't come. Please stay home because we love you enough to stay home.
That's right.
We're still doing an online service. That's not going to
Yeah.
stop. So we want to take care of you. If you have any pre-existing health conditions, if you got anything going on, stay home.
Yeah.
We are going to be checking some temperatures when you come in.
Awesome.
So if you're if you have a fever, you should have stayed home anyway, right? That's the common sense.
Yeah.
I want to say duh, but I won't say that because that would be rude. But so we're trusting people with common sense. So if you feel comfortable wearing a mask, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's where we are on that. We're really putting common sense back in the hands of people.
I'm not sure how much fun it would be to worship with this.
I think it'd be weird,
I
wouldn't
think it'd be kind of odd. That's me personally. But again, like you're talking about, it is up to you. It's your preference. It's however you feel like you need to. But yeah, common sense. But think about other people as well, because if you do have some kind of fever, if you have low-grade fever, something like that, stay at home because you're not only endangering yourself, you're endangering everybody else.
Right. And also with the staying at home, if you feel uncomfortable coming,
Yep.
then stay home. This is not one of those things.
Yeah.
We're not opening church and putting any kind of guilt on anybody.
No,
I
no.
expect you to be
Right.
here. The doors are open.
Right.
The pastor has spoken. It's not that at all. It's like, stay home if you want to stay home. If you feel comfortable in that, or if you feel uncomfortable in coming, then please stay home.
Yeah.
Because this is not a situation where we're wanting to come back together to cause anybody to have heart palpitations. Just relax. And if you're comfortable coming in for worship together corporately, then let's do that.
Right.
We're going to put some things in place to try to keep everybody social distanced and safe.
Right.
We're going to block off every other row in the auditorium so somebody's not right behind you. We're going to seat families together. So you probably won't, these first few Sundays, probably not sitting with your friends, okay. But we want to sit family units together. If you don't have a family, then maybe you can join a family. I don't know, adopt a family, whatever. But we're just going to do our best to do these types of things. And so what I'm asking all the South Pointers to do is to, number one, be patient with us.
Yep.
And like I say all the time, be kind. If a volunteer says, hey, we'd rather you sit here than here, don't have an attitude, right? I mean, we're all trying to figure this out together.
Definitely. This is new to everybody.
And so don't bring your attitude.
Right.
Or it might get adjusted real quick, right? So we're going to put some things in place to help with social distancing, and there'll be hand sanitizer stations all over the place.
All over the place, yeah.
We're going to ask that you don't really congregate in the lobby, come in for service, leave, that kind of thing, just for a few weeks.
That's going to be hard for a lot of people.
It really is.
And I think last week we talked to the Church United pastors, and you were included, and the comment was made that since this is the first time for everybody and everything, this is the forefront. So in the future, hopefully there will never be another pandemic.
Right.
But if it does, they're going to look back on what we all did here during this time, and they're going to use us as the example. So if we do it the right way, we do it the smart way, we'll be fine. We'll be successful. We can move on and just...
Yeah, we're actually setting the mold.
Right.
They say that pandemics hit the world about every 100 years. Okay. Well, the last major pandemic, because there was a small one in 1968, 67, and 68 that some of you might remember. I'm not sure it was quite a pandemic. It was what's the other word for just like an epidemic? I think it was more of an epidemic. Man, you got us back there. I love it.
Katie.
But the pandemic of the Spanish flu, 1918, we're looking back at what they did and copying and mirroring some of those things just socially. So we are setting the tone, and we want to do it right to the best of our ability.
Yeah, definitely. How many services can we attend? I mean, we're going to be like one, right? One service. Is there going to be some kind of lottery, a ticket operation? What do you foresee would be the way for people to be able to choose what service they come to, or
Yeah.
things like
Okay.
that.
Okay.
And
So,
as well for volunteers, for those of us who might be here for 3 services, things like that.
all right. So, can I just tell you what we're thinking right now?
Yeah, sure.
We're just gonna throw that out there. All right. We're looking at, again, meetings after meetings after meetings.
Right.
I'm going to throw out a date. Are you ready? Are you
They
ready?
waited this long.
Yeah,
so
they've. We're looking at doing a trial run service for the volunteer team only. So if you're on a volunteer team, then you can come on May 31st.
All right.
So, and if you're watching and you're a volunteer and you're like, oh, I'm in, okay, well, you'll get a registration, all that stuff to be a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to come and you're not on the volunteer team, you can't. Or you can come and you can volunteer for a team that day. You say, that's manipulation. And to that, I would say, you are correct. So you can watch online, or you can come May 31st as a volunteer.
Awesome.
And you'll get that information via email and text because you're a volunteer, so we have your information. And then, if all goes well, again, we're talking into the future.
Trial runs,
here,
people.
so,
Trial runs. The beta test.
Yeah, yes. We get in trouble for doing this, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. So May 31st would be the volunteer trial run, and let me just explain what we're doing with that. We're trying to learn the best way to have a large group of people come in, a large group of people go out, maintain sanitation, social distancing, just all those things, because we want to do the best that we can.
Yeah.
And honestly, volunteers are that core group of people. They're amazing. They're the best in the world. And so we can look at them and just say, hey, don't do that. Don't ever do that again. And they know our heart, right? They're not going to go, oh, I'm going somewhere else. It's just like, oh, I get it, Pastor. So
hey, everywhere else is doing the same thing, I'm pretty sure. They're
so
trying to figure it out.
May 31st is the volunteers, and then June 7th, the next Sunday, would be our first official Sunday back of corporate worshiping. Okay. And we will still continue, just so everybody knows, the online experience is going to continue being a wonderful online experience. Mm-hmm. We're not stepping back from that. In fact, we're leaning more into that.
Yeah. There's too much hard work that has been put in place already from the staff and everybody to go back now.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So those of you guys have enjoyed the ride along, all the things that have happened. I mean, this is some stuff that we're going to grow on and build on and continue, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And so then, to answer your question in the longest way possible, we would do 3 services on that Sunday, June 7th, and see how it goes. If you come for first service and we reach capacity, the 50, because we're going to be at 50% capacity at that time. Again, if all goes well, we'll be at 50%.
Do we get the turnstiles that count the people that come in?
Yes, we've installed turnstiles and metal detectors, and none of that's true. None of that's true.
No, it's not gonna happen.
That's not going to happen.
It's not gonna happen.
But we will be counting as you come in, because we want to be good citizens, right? So if the government has suggested 50% capacity, then we're going to do everything within our power to do that. So if we reach 50% capacity in first service, we'll stop you and you can sit in your car or wait or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then when that service goes out, then you would be the first ones in for the second.
If you get stopped at the door, go get your coffee. Come back.
There's no coffee. Oh, you mean go get
your coffee and then come back and wait for second service.
Yes.
So
all of these things, Carlos, just so you know and everybody knows, these are not written in stone. These are all written in Jello. Jello. We write things in Jello.
And chalk so you can erase it, and pencils so you can erase it, things like that. So, yeah. So, well, thank you all so much for joining us on this information. I mean, whatever we want to call this thing.
This was an infomercial.
It's an infomercial.
But wait, there's more. Okay,
Is there more?
I don't really have more.
I don't have any more either. So, thank you all so much for joining us today. I hope that this has been good for you. I hope you are excited. I'm excited. Katie, you're excited. Woo. Pastor Craig, are you excited?
I'm very excited.
We're very excited.
I'm excited about how well the online services are going.
I am too, yeah.
to me, it shows the South Pointers, the peoples.
Yes. Yes.
It shows the people's. Just go with that.
Yeah.
It shows the people's commitment and dedication, not just to the house that they're planted in, but to the ongoing kingdom of God.
Right.
It's just you can't take Christianity away from people. You just can't. It's what drives us and pushes us. It's who we are. I don't know, I just love it. I think this pandemic has really shown the true heart of a lot of people. Crisis. When you go through crisis, any crisis, whether it be a pandemic or a family crisis or a financial crisis, personally, whatever it is, whatever's in the person is what comes to the surface. And so I think this whole thing has shown what's really in a lot of people, and it's come to the surface. And I could focus on the bad because there's been some bad surfacing. But I'd rather focus on the so much good has surfaced. So many amazing things have just come out of people, and you're just like, oh my goodness. I got a random Facebook message from someone, I won't say who, that doesn't even go to SouthPoint. And they just messaged us. They saw some things that we were doing in the community, in the online world and stuff. And they just said, thank you for being kind. And it's an amazing 4-letter word that we don't use very often, and we don't witness very often. But I love that people are being kind. I think it's great.
I think we'll leave it there.
Why not?
Be kind to one another.
Yeah. All right. Hey. Bye.
Can't just do it.